Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of YTKS, the Yak Tribe Kayak Show. And if you guys didn't know, this is my wife Shannan.
Hey everyone.
So Shannan joined us on a previous episode, and we just talked about some questions that you guys had. And today we are going to be talking about how to start or build, basically how to start and build a brand. And so guys, remember please, as you guys are always doing, thank you so much for the support that you've given this show over the last 2 months. Really, we're like 2.5 months now.
Wow.
Consistently, week after week after week, and leaving reviews on Apple Podcasts. It's a very big help to us. I'm trying to be the number one kayak fishing podcast. We are trying to be the number one kayak fishing podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and SoundCloud, YouTube as well. And so guys, thank you so much for your support and helping us out and allowing me to bring you this content so consistently week after week. Thank you guys so much for that opportunity. So leave a review, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, and that's how you are entered to win some swag. Again, this episode we're going to be giving away some Yak Tribe swag since this is a Yak Tribe episode and we're not bringing somebody on to give away something else. And so let's get right into it. You know, we live in a day where it's such a blessing to have all of this technology around us. You know, building a brand, it's free to do, really. You know, you have social media. You can even get a free website if you're willing to become a student of the game and to learn. Sure, you'll have to pay a little bit for hosting, but I mean, you're not paying something. Really, if you're willing to put in the work yourself and become a student of the game, you can really do some big things when it comes to online marketing and building your brand, personal brand for a company, a community, an apparel company, whatever it is. And so today we want to kind of talk about some of the do's and don'ts, and maybe even kind of how we built our brands to where it is. And so we don't have the biggest brands. By far, there are brands that are way bigger than us. There are people doing it way better than us. And so you can't even always measure a brand just by, let's say, the amount of Instagram followers somebody has. I mean, these days you don't even know if they're fake or not, and we're going to get into that as a don't here shortly, and how not to build a brand, some of the right and wrong ways to go about it. But you can't just measure it off one thing, and so you really have to, like I keep saying, become a student of the game and learn really how marketing all works together. And so that can be very intimidating, and so we wanted to kind of start off. I'm not saying this is a series, but I've been doing a lot of marketing videos through the Yak Tribe Kayak Show because I've been getting so much feedback from people that are saying, hey, this is helping me when it comes to my personal brand and the things I'm doing. So I feel like this is somewhat of a popular topic to talk about it. And so I'm just going to kind of go with that, and we'll get to really talking about kayak fishing again here shortly. But how do you go about building a brand? I'll let my wife kind of start it because my wife owns her own personal brand. You know, I've done Yak Tribe, I've built other brands, but I've got Shannan here with me today, and she has a lot to offer in terms of marketing knowledge and things like that. And so why don't you just go ahead and kind of let it rip, and we can kind of play off of each other on commentary and stuff like that. So
Sure.
take a crack at it.
I think, to begin, people always ask, how did you, start this? Or how did you get this many followers? Or how are you getting paid for this? You know, these are like common questions people will throw at you.
How fast can I start getting paid?
Right. Things like that. Or like, how long does it take you to get followers? Or whatever the case is. People have a lot of questions. And I had a lot of questions starting out. And I honestly learned a lot from people who were already doing what I wanted to be doing. So I never withhold information or anything, and Heath's the same way. We don't like hold in secrets of the trade or something at all, because we both learned from other people along the way and did research and found articles and found people that were willing to invest knowledge into us and things like that. So I think the most important thing to realize about when anyone starts a brand, a company, a small business, a small shop, whatever the case is, a blog that's getting good amount of views or a good amount of followers, is that nothing happens overnight. Or let me say there's like 1% of people that go viral and something happens overnight, but virtually nothing happens overnight. So people can, look at Yak Tribe and be like, how did you grow so fast? How did you do this? How did you do that? How were you able to live on the road just by your own company and working for yourself? But the same goes for my blog as well. Like, we have worked so many jobs where these our businesses now were the back burner business at the time. And it took time investing in those when we could have been doing nothing, hanging out, watching more TV, doing whatever the case was. But we decided that we wanted to make these things happen, and so we invested time when the payout wasn't really there.
It wasn't, not even was it?
I mean,
wasn't
there was
really
nothing.
there. It was not there.
Right. Like, I have a blog that is now my full-time job, but, I mean...
You started that in 2016.
No, I started right after Rylan, so 15.
So 2015, yeah.
And so he's 5. I started it when he was so let's say 4.5 years ago. And I've only made it, a full-time income the last 2 years. So, but before that, it was literally putting in the work every day, every week to grow and to get page views and to get followers. When I wasn't making money, I was working other jobs at home, taking care of my baby and stuff to make money.
She was actually working for another web developer that I had previously worked for close to 10 years. And so she was working other jobs as she was trying to build up equity, future equity, into what she's doing now. And I think what you're kind of getting at is that right now, if you look at us today, and again, we're not the biggest, we're just trying to give, right? And if you look at us right now, where we're currently at, I own Yak Tribe, she owns Faithfully Beautiful. I have a portfolio of marketing clients that support what they pay me so I can live this life. They're my marketing clients. And I'm not even full time in Yak Tribe. Yak Tribe doesn't make me.
And I think that's what people don't realize.
A lot of people see that, yeah. And so I'm really investing even still into the future of Yak Tribe, even though people might think that Yak Tribe just
pays the bills.
Exactly, and it doesn't. And so it definitely blesses us and helps us to continue what we're doing. But I think kind of what you're getting at is that people see the fruits of our lives right now. They see the fruits, whether they're measuring that in followers or things or views or what
or not having to go to a 9-to-5 job,
right, or not working at a specific office or whatever. They're seeing the fruits of what we were doing 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it's almost as if they're asking how quickly can they get to the final result. And they're thinking, this is the final result. This isn't even the final result for us.
Oh, no.
And so it's like they're seeing the fruits of what we did 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the question comes off kind of like this. It's like, hey, how quickly did you get that follower? How quickly did you get your blog like that?
Right.
And when and that type of question is always a red flag for me, because if the question is how quickly did you get your followers up there? In their mind, what they're saying is, how quickly can then I get my followers there and then be doing what they're doing, right? It's almost like the same question that I talk about on the show, which is like, hey, what do you do? Because I want to do what you do so I can get what you have. It's that same kind of question. Hey, how fast can you get those? How fast did you get those followers and build your website and start getting paid? How fast did that happen?
Right.
Because if it happens within a time that I think I can allocate towards building that, then I'll do that.
Right.
But really, the right train of thought is, you know what I love doing? I love writing. You know what I love doing? I love making videos. I love commentating. I love building. I love teaching. Okay, then where can I bring that? Right? And so when you're trying to just figure out how fast can you do something because you want to mimic or imitate or match something else, well, then the whole trajectory of everything else you do is going to be off tilt.
Yeah.
It's going to be for the wrong intentions, and then
you're not going to feel as good as you think you're going to feel doing.
Right. And a lot of times you'll be watching everybody else trying to figure out, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? How do I? Oh man, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about this.
And you start getting jealous. You start watching people being jealous. I mean, if we take it back to like what you said, my next tip for starting anything would be that it has to be something that you are passionate about. Not that you like every aspect of it, because that's a whole nother thing. You can love kayak fishing and, you don't love the bookkeeping side of it. I get that, but every business is going to come with that. But the core of what your business is about, you have to love doing that. And you can't just do it because you've seen people be successful and try and mimic it, like you said. Because when I think back, it's kind of funny to see where I'm at now. Because when I was, say 15 years old, I didn't think I would be doing what I'm doing now. Yet, I did know that the types of content and things that I enjoyed doing it is still what I'm doing. Like, I used to
Right.
want to work for a magazine or do photojournalism, or it's always been something in the creative writing and photography and getting to know people and talking to people.
Yeah, it's just the outlet changed a little bit.
Yeah, I just didn't realize it would be me being a mom blogger and a travel blogger. But when I think back on the goals that I had when I was younger, I used to be like, well, it'd be so cool if I could travel and take pictures.
Right.
And I used to think that would be for, like National Geographic or something. Like, but it's just changed. So you have to, at the core, love the actual thing that your business is about. And then, like you said, invest the time in learning everything else. Because I'm going to tell you, I do not like website stuff. Like, my job is a website and a blog. But I don't like the technical side of it. Like, like Heath will be like, you didn't format that blog right. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to go back and change it. Like, I don't like that side, but I have to.
Or I'm like always
learn and
cleaning
invest.
up the back end mess, It's
Yeah, because for me, I love taking pictures. I love, talking to the clients and partnerships I have. I love the creative stuff. I love sharing it with people. But just the technical side is not my thing. Yet, if I want to be successful in this, what I've had to learn over the years, and successful, I just mean
like
be
you're
able
doing
to
it.
do
You're
it,
doing it, yeah.
And be able to make a living out of it. I have to learn that stuff, and that's what
Right.
comes with it. Like, if you don't have the money to pay someone to do it, but you want to do it, you have to learn how to do it yourself.
Right, and so I know I'm on my phone right now, but I'm pulling up a message. I got a message today, and I'm just trying to refresh myself on it. I'm not gonna name the person. I have a lot of love for this person. I'm not going to even put the details of the specifics of the question, but the question was this. The question was, hey, I just started a business, and the products aren't selling as fast as I hoped they would, and so how do I get them to sell, right? And so him and I had a few back and forths. And so a lot of people think like, oh, it's a business and a product. It's not a brand. Oh, it's a business and a product. You can't have a community around. I would totally disagree. You look at some of these companies that have all of their sales are built off community, And so if you think about it, that's kind of how Yak Tribe is. Like, Yak Tribe, my intention wasn't to sell hats and shirts and like, oh, let's get rich. And we're not rich. But like, because of the community, people did buy decals and they are buying hats, and it's such a blessing to us. So thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. It's such a blessing to us. But I want to get into kind of some real practical tips. Like he was saying, he's like, how do I get them to sell faster? And again, the intent, you can kind of see the intent of the reach out. Like the intent of the question is like, hey, that's every business needs sales to survive. Right? But if it's just what do I got to do so I can make sales faster? There's a lot of things you can do to make sales faster, but let's talk about the longevity of your company.
Yeah.
Like, how long is your company going to be around? Are you trying to build something that you can, is it a one-off product that you want to sell 1 million of them on Amazon real quick? Or are you trying to develop a company and a brand and a community that will last for the next 25 years? And so I'm right now I'm trying to go back and forth with this guy and try and figure out what is it that he's trying to do. If you're just trying to sell a quick lure because you want to make $1 million, I can give you some tips and tricks on how to like invest some money and make some.
Yeah, to be like a viral.
Yeah, to be like
product.
a quick viral overnight product, but then that's going to die and no one's going to care who you were.
Right, and they won't remember your name.
Right. So let's talk about some practical ways on how to build a brand, and so a lot of times I'm looking to see if a brand has a community built around it. So you can, let's say, let's take this. Let's say I'm going to start a new company, and we're going to call it call it Thriving Fish, right? And like, cool, I make some decals, and I got hats, and I built a website, and it all looks dope, and the embroidery's on point, and the blanks I picked for the shirts, they're nice, and everything just looks legit, and awesome, great product. Like, if I saw it in the store, great, this is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I'm not getting sales. But like, I built it, so like, what the heck? Like, why am I not getting sales?
Yeah.
Right. And so like, maybe you can touch on a little bit, maybe some strategies and some things that they can do. Like was that even the right way to start? Was it right to just like design the brand, build it, get shirts, and then just be open for business? Is that the right way of going about it? Or does it really stem from like, a passion and the community calling for it, and then you can build something around what the community is asking for that you're already involved in or the demographic you're trying to tap into.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, that hits the nail on the head for me. I mean, when you can find anything, unless you're like inventing something that's never been invented. Other than that, like, you can find anything already, you know. I can find, like, I'm sure you guys, you know, you're all on Instagram and stuff. I'm sure you scroll and you see ads for like those t-shirt companies, or like your wife might shop on Etsy for like mom t-shirts and stuff like that. You can find that stuff anywhere. You can find it in any store. You can find it if you just do a quick Google search. But I'll tell you, I've personally probably only bought from like 2 companies, and that's because I genuinely love the way the company has created a community and put things together in such a way that I remember their name, I remember what they do, I remember the types of things they like to talk about when it comes to.
So you told me it doesn't have
moms.
to do with the color shirt they picked out?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is I can, like I said, I can find probably a better shirt, you know, on a different website.
But
I
you're
could
supporting.
pay less on a different website.
Yeah.
But there's something about when someone is giving you value, and when you've talked to someone before, you know, even just in a DM. I'm not talking about people I even know. I'm talking about literally just people on Instagram. And, you know, they share tips about what they're doing, or, you know, they know their community. So I am big in the online motherhood community, and people who share tips and share their struggles and, you know, ask questions about what would you do if your kid came home and said this. And there's a way to interact with people that I remember, like, I know her name who owns the shop, and I know the name of her shop. And when someone says like, hey, Shannon, where do you get cute shirts? Like, I know it right off the top of my head.
Right.
And it's imprinted in my head because I have a relationship there.
So let's segue into this, you know, like, really it's like being genuine. Like, Yak Tribe was built off DMs. Mm-hmm. And the DM wasn't like, yo, we got this new dry fit, it's $35, what's up? You know what I mean?
No,
it was
not
like,
at all.
it was hours of me, because I loved kayak fishing. So I was genuinely engaging. I was like, hey, bro, I noticed you live in Pensacola. Did you also know there's another kayak fisherman that lives about 30 miles from you right there on the border?
Yeah,
and
you started by like taking 2 people and putting them in DMs.
Right.
Before it was like a community.
So I want to talk about this a little bit. This is going to last another 10 minutes, so we got to really get some thoughts out here. And so I want you guys to know, and those who know me know I never come down on people in a condescending way. This is strictly an informative. This is my opinion. This is things I think.
Oh, yeah.
This is not this word about this is how you do it. You're stupid if you do it this way. And you might be listening to this. You're like, he's talking about me. I'm probably not talking about you. And if you feel like I'm talking about you, maybe it's almost like a conviction thing. Like, hey, I've kind of done that. Ooh, my bad.
Yeah. And we've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. Like I said, I talked about pro staffs before. I was that guy who was like, pro staff. So I'm coming from experience, right? And so there's this thought out there that's like, build it and they will come, which is like, I will build it, and because I built it, they will come. I will build this kayak shop, and because I built the kayak shop, they will buy. Duh. Like, don't they see all of the work I put into this? And so there's a million, like, let's just talk about kayak fishing right now. Mm-hmm. There are a ton of kayak fishing brands. And you know how I know? Because I bought some of their stuff, even though I'm friends with them. I'm buying their stuff. I've supported them. I haven't bought all of it, but I mean, you've seen all the shirts I've had come in for fishing brands I don't even know. I'm just trying to support the homies out there, support small business.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of these pop-up brands coming because it's like the coolest thing to do is like start a brand. And if you want to start a brand, hit me up because I will support you. I will buy a shirt. Trust me. Mm-hmm. I've done it. My closet's full of them, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not the guy that's like, yo, let me get that for free.
We probably have a hat from like every company I know in the fishing.
Yeah, and so like I'm down to support. So I'm not coming at it like in a negative way. So I see a lot of these pop-up brands happening. And the material is legit. Like, it's legit. The content looks legit. The website's legit. The apparel's dope. It's awesome. But then the way I see it sold it's like it upsets my stomach because I'm like, ugh, like, this is so bad. And it looks like this. Hey, everybody, just made this shirt. If you want one, DM me. Right? Yeah. It's like this build it and they will come mentality. Mm-hmm. And so what they're saying is like, hey guys, I just made this shirt. DM me to buy it. And it's like,
And you'll sell a few.
You'll sell some.
There'll be people who'll be like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely dope.
But that's not like a lasting business plan.
Right. And so here's the question. Could you sell more and could you do more if you built a story around your brand? Could you do more if you were a real authority in the industry? Could you do more if you were constantly investing in relationships and you were like constantly taking your free time and engaging with people? Like that Yak Tribe was built on grassroots engagement, and it wasn't like, hey, what's up? Oh, nothing much. What's up? Oh, I just want to say that's an awesome, that's a nice fish you caught. Oh, thanks so much. Hey, buy a shirt, right?
Yeah,
I never asked for the sale, right?
Yeah,
and I don't even come from it from like a divisive way. I just love connecting with people. And so I have connected with people in a genuine way, and the community called for Yak Tribe.
Yeah.
Like the community called for the hat and the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, when we started, we had like a small amount of shirts. I don't even remember how fast they sold, to be honest. So like that shows how little of like importance the actual sales were at the beginning to us as far as growing Yak Tribe, because I can't even remember if we sold them fast or slow. Like I don't even remember.
They sold pretty fast because I got the shirts done after everyone started asking for shirts to rep.
Yeah.
And so there was already a line of people that wanted me to make something. Yeah. And I'm not just saying like, oh, they wanted me to make something.
No, but I remember we felt proud when people were like that. We felt proud of Yak Tribe when people were coming back asking us, like, when are you going to do a meetup? When are you going to put out a new shirt? When are you going to, like, that's what made us feel proud. Not, like I said, I couldn't even remember if we sold the shirts or not.
Right.
Like, that wasn't what was important. It's always been the people wanting to be involved in what it is we're doing, and that's always been the cool part.
Yeah, and I just wanted to circle back to what I was trying to say, which was, what I was trying to say was this build it and they will come mentality. That post that I'm seeing, which is like, hey, I made it, now who wants to buy it, DM me. Is there a way that you can go about building a genuine and legit connection that you don't have to always ask for the sale? Are you investing enough in putting content out there that people like and love and are engaging with you? Mm-hmm. Are you giving more than you're asking? And so that has always been my strategy with branding, whether it's for Yak Tribe or for O-Meals or Lucky Tackle Box or whatever the case is, whoever's projects I'm working on, it's, am I giving more than I'm asking? Because we need sales to survive. Like, that's the reason you do it, unless you're like, have money and down to give everything away for free, right?
Right.
But like, so what's your approach? That's really my tip. What is your approach? And so let's talk about, we're going to fire off some things, some don'ts. Let's just fire off some don'ts. Mm-hmm. We've got another 4 minutes before we end this episode because we've got to get rolling. And then we might do some more episodes like this. Let me know if you guys have questions. So let's fire off some don'ts when it comes to branding. Let me give you one. Don't buy followers. All right. There's some Instagram accounts out there. I'm not going to call them out. But they have bought followers. You can look at their follower list. They are Dubai, Alibaba, Indian.
But here's the thing: what do followers matter? Because those fake followers aren't going to buy anything.
Right. Do not buy followers. Whether it's an Instagram algorithm update that happens one day and totally like blocks your account, bans you, takes away your followers, whatever the case is, just don't do it. Mm-hmm. Don't buy followers. What's another one? I
would say. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot. What are some don'ts when it comes to branding and building a brand?
Don'ts when it comes to branding?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say, we kind of said this, but not being too salesy, and I think that also comes off as an influencer, because I know a lot of people here are like influencers. That's the core of my job. And I sign contracts with companies to promote their product. That's like their number one don't, is like, do not be a billboard for me. Don't just list specs of a product. You need to explain to people why this fits into their life. And I think that comes from a brand perspective and from an influencer perspective. Show how this product can honestly integrate into your life or into your fishing or into whatever it is. And the people who are wondering will ask you, oh, how big is that? How much did that cost? How much this or that? When you genuinely show that it's a valuable product.
Right. Any other don'ts?
Don't. I think don't be afraid of your competition. I think a lot of people are very afraid. Some of my best friends are competition in a sense. You know, we bid on the same projects and things like that. But we have to, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am because I'm learning so much from them. And same true with Yak Tribe.
Here's another one. Don't be afraid to put out content. Don't be afraid to put something out and mess up. Don't be afraid to put something out and the community not like it. Don't be afraid to do something based on perceptions you don't even know exist yet because you haven't put it out. I would say don't be afraid to take the jump. Now I want to talk about some do's. Do good. You know, do good. Do your best. Do the very best that you can. Here, like as far as like put out the bet. Don't not put something out because it's not perfect. Do the best that you can, and then just put it out there. Do it.
Yeah.
I would say do your research. And it's kind of a don't, but like don't be that person that is just, if they don't know something, we're talking about building a brand here, right? You need to become a student of the game. And
It's
so
always changing too.
always changing. Don't be the type of person that's like, how do I know a friend, let me ask them. Do your research. And so be the type of person and have it ingrained in your being that if you don't know something, the first thing you're going to do is look it up on Google. That's free, right? And so become a student of the game. Not that you have to do every single thing and know how it all works. I used this analogy in one of my videos recently, which was like a mechanic, right? Like you might be a mechanic. You know, not every mechanic knows how to take apart, rebuild an engine, right? But if you're a good mechanic, you know how everything works together. You know if it's the transmission or if it's the engine or if it's the radiator or the alternator. Like you have an idea how everything works together. And that's the same for a marketer and for someone who's building a brand. You need to know how these types of things work together. But yeah, so do your research, become a student of the game.
Here's a tip for research. I don't think a lot of guys think to do this. Huge platform to search for marketing tips is on Pinterest. A lot of them might have like pretty florals on the graphics, but the content is solid, you know, teaching you how to build a brand and marketing tactics.
Yep. And so I'm going to end with this. Hey, what if we got Gary Vee on our podcast one day? So like Gary Vee is somebody I look up to a lot. He is somebody that's challenged me in my marketing abilities and the way I think about branding. I mean, I've been a consumer of his content for probably 5 years. Yeah, close to 5 years, I think, if not a little bit more. Like when he was making the transition from Wine Library into doing VaynerMedia, you know, like that's really when I started to pick him up. And so he has this thing going around right now, which is #HoneyEmpire. And so that speaks to me. And I would say incorporate this in what you do. And this is something that Yak Tribe stands for. This is what Yak Tribe really is all about. It really is the Honey Empire. The Honey Empire is something that, and this is like fairly new to the game, right? Like his whole deal. Like people are writing about this right now.
Yeah.
But like if you follow him, you'll know what the Honey Empire is. The Honey Empire is your business, the way it's built. How is your empire built? Is it based on us holding in our secrets? Is it based on us not being down to help other people and to give other people tips and to put out content like this, which is telling people really our secrets? Like most people won't tell you how you went about building something because, now they'll know. Now they maybe won't buy into what you're doing. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you put out the information, people almost like support you more even though they know your secret sauce, right? And so that's why I've loved Gary Vee for so long. And so #HoneyEmpire is something, it's like Yak Tribe's mindset. Real people, real stories, real connections. We are constantly doing good for other people the best that we can. And by we, I mean you, the members of Yak Tribe. I see it happening all day, all the time, on Instagram, on Facebook, in real life. And so incorporating the Honey Empire, you know, what's the old saying? You can attract more bees, or you can attract more ants with honey, not vinegar. It's something like you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. There's a more vulgar, expression of that. Like you know what it is. You can catch more flies with honey than crap, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is the Honey Empire, that you can attract more people and you can build your empire not by tearing everybody else down. So speak to that for a few minutes and then we'll wrap it up just a little bit.
Right, yeah. Like I said before, don't be afraid of competition. Don't be afraid of the people around you. Going back to that, when I saw Gary Vee's post on that, his quote was, I want to build the biggest building I can without tearing anyone else's building down. And I think that is a core in any industry, in any marketing platform. I don't ever think it's a good thing to try and tear anyone else down. You can build the biggest thing that you can, and with other people's help, it's going to get even bigger. And you can all honestly grow together. And I really like what you said about sharing, kind of like behind the scenes and things like that. Man, some of the most successful bloggers and influencers that I know, they share more about what they're doing behind the scenes than their pretty pictures, in their squares. It's all about showing their community and showing people who are aspiring to do what they do, how they do things, and people really respect them.
It's okay to share the juice. It's okay to share the sauce. It's okay to bring people alongside and show them what it is and give them the tips and tricks. And so we're really trying to give back. And we don't have all the answers. We don't know everything about everything, but we feel like we've done enough that we can at least submit a little bit of something to the world. And so when it comes to building a brand, here are some of our tips, just being genuine. Don't be so salesy. Go about, find a different angle. Give more than you ask. So if you're going to ask for a sale, like, hey guys, I'm selling this, give. What are you putting out? What are you giving away for free? How are you genuinely connecting? Who are you giving something away to? Give. And the more you give, that's how Yak Tribe was. Every time we got an order, we would throw something in for free, and we still try and do that today. We get an order, throw in free decals, throw in free lures, throw in a bottle opener, throw in something, just trying to give.
Yeah.
And so those are some of our tips for building a brand. If you guys would like to have any other questions like this or subjects talked about, please leave us a message in the comments below. And guys, that is going to be the end for this episode. We release all of our episodes on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got knocks at the door right now. Again, this is my wife, Shannan, and thank you so much, babe, for being on this podcast with us. Guys, we will see you next Monday.